Gun violence isn't someone else's problem. It affects us all, whether you know someone who's been shot, or perhaps you know someone who's the provoker. Gun violence is real. Gun violence involving students not only occur in our schools, but outside the school too. 10,000 kids are injured or killed by guns each year in the United States, and an additional 3,000 children die from gunshot wounds before they can even get to the hospital. 1 out of 3 people in the United States know someone who has been shot. As of October 2015, Gary recorded 42 homicides, making the city's homicide rate 53 per 100,000 residents. That equals 1 homicide for every 1,900 residents. Hammond, Indiana has almost nearly the same identical population of Gary, Indiana, which is more than 79,000 residents. Hammond's per capita is about 8%. Michael, how has gun violence impacted your life as well as your family's life?
It affected my life because I lost a bunch of friends in shootings. And ever since I've been younger, it hurts me every time I get older.
How did those shootings impact your school environment and yourself personally?
It affected our school badly because a bunch of students knew the kids that passed away and knew other kids. And it hurts them every day knowing about it.
Can you tell us that impact it had on you?
The impact sucked because when you get closer to friends and you do a lot of things with them and you lose them, it's like losing your own brother or sister in your family.
In other news today, many stories are about children being shot at school. As a student, how safe do you feel at school, and what are your personal thoughts on a subject such as school shootings?
I feel like that schools don't know how to monitor the building well sometimes, and sometimes they don't know how to check the people that are coming in. Also, I think it affects us because one day, if it happens to us, we'll never know how well our life could have went. I honestly think that only people that honestly need guns are those people that have a license for it, or police, or anybody that's authority.
Thank you.
We were just all sitting there in the library, and then they just started, all you hear is firecrackers, and then I looked out the window, and there's a kid with a trench coat and a shotgun throwing pipe bombs in the parking lot, and then he shot a girl outside.
Killed my best friend.
There has been more than 100,000 deaths due to gun violence. Today, gun violence is at an all-time high. Indiana is at the top 20 of most violent states in the United States. Just in the region alone, Hammond, East Chicago, and Gary all rates at the top 6 in the Indiana cities. Gun violence is not only taking over our community, but it's also taking over our children. Children are becoming armed easier in today's society. The number of school shootings has increased over the last decade. In 1999, 15 people died in a school shooting in Colorado. The shooter, 2 students. More recently, in 2012, 28 people were shot to death at an elementary school in Connecticut.
And from high schoolers at Columbine, and from first graders in Newtown. First graders. And from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun. Every time I think about those kids, it gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day. All of us need to demand a Congress brave enough to stand up to the gun lobby's lies. All of us need to stand up and protect its citizens. All of us need to demand governors and legislators and businesses do their part to make our communities safer.